Hello everyone. I am trying to fix my seat. I am driving, which I got both hands on the wheel, so my hands-free unit. I am so mixed up with this holiday schedule because I've promised to bring you guys lives on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but because of the holidays, I did one on Sunday about the end of the year and the top 10 things that I just absolutely rocked my world for 2017. And so, but I wanted to get back on track. And one of the things that I've been working with my clients on this year is no excuses. So even though it's 4 o'clock, but it is Tuesday, I am jumping on a live. And it is 19 degrees here in the southern states. And I'm telling you right now, southern folk don't do 19 degrees very well. Everybody is cranky, moody, and bundled up as I am. And I had just jumped in my car to run an errand, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's Tuesday. I need to do a live. So you're seeing me in all my glory. I've got like 19 layers for each degree of coldness in this insane weather we're having. It's been a long time since Oklahoma, or at least specifically my city, has seen this low of temperatures. So I'm celebrating with 19 layers of clothes. Either way, I wanted to jump on really quickly because someone had talked about it this morning. In particular, I was talking to a client, and she was talking about her friend that has a 9, maybe 10-year-old daughter that has really started acting out, defiant, temper tantrums, anger issues, and yada, yada, yada. And she has, gone to doctor after doctor, can't seem to get some relief. And then however, has figured out that this child has gluten sensitivity, okay? But it really, and major constipation. But again, has been to doctor after doctor, and they can't figure out what's wrong. So here you have this 9, 10-year-old girl that's really suffering with a lot. And gosh, you guys, it's really been on my heart today about this. I mean, I have 2 daughters, one of which that's 9, one of which that's 5, and I can't even imagine. We're just now going to get into the hormonal stage with my oldest daughter and dealing with that, and I can't even imagine if there were major gut issues, because that's exactly what constipation and ADHD and outbursts and temper tantrums and all those things, they're all associated with the gut. Gluten intolerance, all of that is associated with the gut. And so basically my client, which again, this is her friend's daughter, was asking me, where do they start? What do they do? And I thought this would be a great question to bring on a live today because of their kids. Now, the first place I would start if it was my kid would be to get what's called a GI map test, which is a stool test, and then have it interpreted by a functional diagnostic practitioner like myself. From there, you can decide if you're what kind of bacterial imbalance that you're dealing with. And that is the key to the lab testing. You get to see exactly what is going on in that person's unique body with their unique makeup, and you can then begin to deal with, is it a bacterial issue? Is it a parasite issue? If it is one or the other, what kind? Are they autoimmune triggers? Are they, pathogens? Are they, like really intense bacterial struggles? Is your body attacking itself? What is your immune system doing? What all is going on? And a test specifically like this particular test, which is one of the best out there, tells you all of that. It tells you such an intense, deep story about what is going on in this case, this child's body. And then you know what to do and go from there. So it's not like you're just saying that child is gluten intolerant. You're saying, why is that child gluten intolerant? Because for some reason we tend to stop there with gluten. It becomes about, I'll just give up gluten. But the thing about it is that why is the body gluten intolerant? Okay? But again, we have to remember the importance of bacterial balance altogether. Okay? Bacterial or parasitic balance altogether. You have good bacteria and bad bacteria. When you have more bad bacteria than good, and depending on what kind of bacteria it is, will depend on the symptoms that you have. But regardless, your child can have, depression, anxiety, sugar cravings, everything that we as adults can have, but experience it at a very young age, but do that because of a bacterial imbalance inside their gut. And the reason being is because your intestinal lining, your gut, your microbiome is your second brain in your body. In other words, everything filters through there. It's absolutely crucial for that to be balanced, for anything else in your body to be balanced, whether that be your hormones, whether that be your, so much. And especially when it comes to kids, their moods. And they don't know how to articulate it, and they don't know how to deal with it. And as parents, we keep shoving processed food in their face. Or worse yet, when in particular this child, she is gluten intolerant, and they have determined that. But instead of giving her, more unprocessed foods, they just take the gluten out of a processed food. In other words, you see the gluten-free stuff on the shelf, which is still processed food. It just happens to be gluten-free. So again, and no one is blaming anybody for this, because there's so much crappy information out there as parents. They're just trying to do what they can. You know what I'm saying? They're busy. They're trying to pay their bills. Or, no one's, throwing shade here, because that doesn't do any good. And if you take it personally, or you sit there and you take everything personally for that matter, then you're never going to get to the bottom of it for yourself, and dang sure for your child. Because if your child is suffering from these types of things, mood swings, constipation, gut issues, bloating, anxiety, depression, at 9 and 10 years old, guys, those are huge red flags, and those will not go away on their own. It will be stuff that they suffer with, for a really long time. In fact, I had a 25-year-old in my office today, and I know that she struggled with it for a really long time. And this was one of my thoughts too, is wow, if she could have had this information sooner, what would it be like for her right now? Even though she's doing the work right now, and we're working on it. But if she'd had this information sooner. So just as a quick note, that you have a child that's suffering with constipation, mood swings, temper tantrums, outbursts, inability to focus. Even with my JC, we've really struggled this year with reactive airwaves disease. And so if I get her gut in check and make sure that she stays away from gluten and dairy, as well as do certain herbs and probiotics, then she does really good, is able to focus in school, isn't as emotional, and also too, she doesn't have to take her other meds that make her worse, where she really can't control her emotions. So, that just tells you, and it's all down to your second brain, which is your microbiome and your intestinal wealth is what I like to call it. And so doing a simple lab test, again, simple, there's still an investment, there's still time, and the protocol is not take this for an hour and then you feel better. And then with kids, you still have to work with them on what they will eat, because if we've already set them up to have a very processed diet, sometimes they are extremely reluctant to do a less processed diet. And so you have to work with that, and sometimes it is a few more battles than it was before at first. They will begin to embrace it, and as you as the parent embraces it, and you as the parent sets the example, then the child, obviously shouldn't even have a choice to be able to do that as well. But again, I get the whole pick your battles theory, and we do that at our house as well. I just want you to know that there is hope out there, but to not dismiss, don't just go straight for the prescription drugs, or don't just go straight to even gluten-free diet. If the symptoms are continuing, then look deeper inside the second brain and the intestinal wealth of that child, and set that child up futuristically for a health of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge, to get some true help for ADHD type symptoms, constipation, hormonal swings, temper tantrums, depression and anxiety now at a young age, so that they can, they can deal with it later. Because I know adults right now that aren't dealing with it very well. So give your kids a chance. Dig a little deeper. If you have questions, you can message me here on this page. I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and we can go from there. All right, I gotta go because I'm totally driving and doing this, even though, like I said, it was hands-free. Peace out.